Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study, 14th of October, 2021. We're going to be dealing with Africa and the rise of the Hebrews. A series of videos for the lesson tonight. I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button. This is a non-Messianic channel. We're dealing with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh is the Old Testament, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was delivered to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of hosts. Shalom and welcome, everyone. We're going to do our moment of silence, our prayer, read the Psalms, and then go to the current event. And this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our deliverance, prophesied deliverance from the land of our captivity over here in North America, the Caribbeans, and Great Britain. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments, your testimony, and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. Shalom. You're going to read that Psalms? Somebody supposed to read a psalm?
Yes, I'm going to do Psalm 139.
Okay.
Praise to the all-knowing God.
Okay.
O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it. Whether shall I go from thy spirit, or whether shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuous were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and I'm not I grieved with those that rise up against thee. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in thy way everlasting. That was Psalm 139.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay, and verse 4 says, "There is not a word in my mouth, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether." That reminds me of Genesis, when Genesis chapter 18, verse 9, when Sarah, when the Lord of hosts came to Sarah and Abraham and says, uh, chapter 18, verse 9 of Genesis, and they said unto him, "Where is Sarah thy wife?" And he said, "Behold, in the tent." And he said, "I will certainly return unto to thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son." And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. And then verse 11, and Abraham and Sarah were old and well sick in age, and it ceased to be with the Sarah after the manner of a woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself. So she laughed to herself, saying, "Am I waxed old? Shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also?" See, and the Lord said unto Abraham, "Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which I am old?" So he heard that. She laughed within herself, but he heard it. And so over here in verse 139, Psalm 39 and 139 and 4 says, uh, "But there is not a word in my mouth, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether." Okay. And the other one is 13, says, "For thou hast possessed my reins, and thou hast covered me in my mother's womb." So what do you mean by covered him in his mother's womb? The melanin. When you understand what the melanin is, it says when a woman conceives in her womb, the melanin comes down, cover that fetus up, and that's what causes you to have develop right. 10 toes, 10 fingers, 2 eyes, everything develop right because melanin encompasses the whole fetus and causes it to form right. Okay.
Right. And God knows us, better than we know ourselves. You know what I'm saying? He knows us, when before we were even born.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So with that being said, we'll move forward. Anybody got any current events? Okay. We got a couple of current events. Well, first one is can you see that?
Yes.
It says China state media warns U.S. U.S. defending Taiwan would be a death blow to American soldiers. Ain't that something? Say amid escalating tension between the United States and Taiwan, the Global Times, a Chinese state media publication, warned that America's involvement in Taiwan's succession would be deadly for American troops. Man, ain't that something? Beijing considers the reunification of Taiwan, which it sees as a province of the mainland, an integral part of the country's future. But many Taiwanese people want complete autonomy. Tensions between China and Taiwan are at the worst they've been in decades. And with the U.S. being a backer of Taiwan, the Pentagon criticizes China's attempt to intimidate the island through a military exercise. Okay? There's tensions between China and Taiwan have raised concerns about war breaking out and the potential for the United States to get dragged into an armed conflict. The Global Times editorial board warned of the U.S. against getting involved, writing in an op-ed that America's commitment to Taiwan isn't as strong as China's. Okay, and then some. Read a little more. Washington will never fight to the death with the Chinese mainland for the island's secession. The Global Times wrote, over these issues, we dare fight to death against anyone who challenges and obstructs us. The United States has been increasingly support for Taiwan, and on Tuesday, Ned Price, a State Department spokesman, said America is committed to deepening ties with Taiwan. America's relationship with Taiwan includes providing military and political support for the island. Officials have stopped short of promising to back Taiwan in a military conflict with China. And Price said on Tuesday, support for the island is rock solid. Okay, any comments? Okay, here we go. Okay, one more. Okay, there we go. Let me get out of this right quick. Okay.
It's October 14, 2021, and welcome to the Grand Supreme News Channel. Before I start, guys, give this video a big thumbs up and share this video. We got some breaking news updates, so check this one out. The feds warn Americans to expect heating bills to rise as much as 54% this winter. But let me show you guys something really quick. All right, because I believe this is going to be a huge, massive problems to a lot of companies, not only Americans, right, that pay bills. But look, right, it says here, heating prices across all types of heating, natural gas, electricity, propane, and heating oil. Now, let me tell you guys something. When it comes to propane, right, I started doing a lot of research on this. Matter of fact, all this right here, natural gas, electricity, propane, and heating oil, is something that Mr. Mac Daddy wannabe Gavin Newsom has banned in the state of California. I don't think when it comes to propane, though, and I think this here is going to be the next one that's going to get banned. But these two right here, well, this right here, natural gas and a lot of these stuff are banned in the state of California, which is going to cause a huge problem. Now, the reason why I'm pointing to this one right here, propane, is because 90% of U.S. companies uses forklift. Forklift are run by propane. Some are battery, but 80% of them are run by propane, and that's going to be a huge, huge punch in small businesses. Now, another thing is 500,000 containers are still off the coast of California. Now, to unload those stuff inside a container, you will need a forklift to unload the stuff. The problem here is that, you know, California, they still have them container off the California coast, and it seems like what they're trying to do here, they're trying to rise the prices, and that way small companies will get hit really hard when it comes to propane tank, and then, you know, they're going to have a difficult time unloading containers and stuff like. I mean, it's just going to be brutal. You see what's going on here? They are destroying our businesses and jobs and everything, man. And not only that, they're trying to hurt the American people. They're trying to hurt the American people by slapping them with bills of $500 a month. In the state of Florida, guys, it's summertime, right? In the past 3.5 months, my bill was $450 to $500 a month. I never seen anything like it ever in my life, and you guys heard about it many times. I talked about it. I called Duke Energy, right? That's the electric company. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? I got a bill of $450. Well, sir, due to the massive heat going on, maybe you're running your AC on 60. So no, ma'am, it's on 75. What's going on here? Well, again, because of the high temperature, ma'am, I lived here for 10 years and have never seen anything like it ever in my life. All right, last year was really hot, and the year before that, but my bills was not that crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I will pay it, right? The next month, we got the bill. Lewis went to the gym, and Lewis started punching the punching bag. I'm like, taking out all my stress and all that. Just dropping the dumbbells and, hello, yes, can I speak to a representative? There was like, because of the heat. I'm like, man, can you just stop with this heat stuff? You guys are taking advantage. You are ripping people off. I told him just like that. I mean, your company is ripping people off, and it's not fair. A lot of people still have to pay bills from last year world events and stuff like that. So it just get ready, because if you think $15 an hour is, oh yeah, I got money. Yeah, right. The rich get rich and the poor get poor, man. They slamming you and slapping you with a whole bunch of high bills of electricity and stuff like that. Americans still can't pay their rent. And by the way, didn't Joe say that he's going to wipe out the debt? He's going to wipe that off? He didn't. He's extending it, and landlords are fighting back. And he knows the entire verse of Psalms. Okay, I want you to read that verse. Okay, right here.
1, 2, 5.
The entire verse.
Okay. Blessed is the man.
Yes. Let's see if I can see you. Okay, go ahead.
Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yieldeth fruit in its season, and its leaf shall not wither, and all that he does he prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like shafts that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor
Okay, yeah.
nor
So he's telling you that they now the feds and those powers that be done told you that everything going up sky high, during the winter. So that ain't good. Any comments on that?
Shelves are going to be empty. Electric bill going up, gas bill going up. It's going to be, a hard time. We can get ready for that.
Right. That song?
Yes.
Yeah, they warning you. They telling you. Most High gonna make them do that. Okay. Ain't that song?
They've been warning us for a minute now.
Oh,
We
yeah.
keep hearing December, so we know something is going to be happening in December. We just don't know exactly when.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This right here, what he talking about could be a trigger that tip the economy. Who knows? Right. So what I was doing now is so we all know what generational curses is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody got a somewhat definition of what they think a generational curse is?
I guess I would say my understanding of it is that um, it's throughout the generations. So your forefathers, fathers, something that occurred in previous generations that's still occurring, in each generation after that.
Right. Yeah, and then another thing that's tied to that is what so many people not aware of is Enoch tells us that the way that we got evil spirits upon the earth was when those giants died, and that the spirit that was in those giants didn't come from heaven. It didn't come from the Lord. So when that body of the giant died, that spirit is roaming the earth. That's where wicked spirit. That's where evil spirits came from. They can't ascend. So it's here on the earth, roaming the earth. That's what wicked spirits are. So they looking the whole reason. One of the main two reasons why those giants wouldn't submit to the Lord of hosts and to heaven was they lived so long. They lived for 500, 600, 700 years, and they strength. So that's why let me read this right quick. So they wanted to live forever. That's what they one of the petitions was when those angels came to Enoch and asked him to go and petition the Lord of hosts for them. He asked them to the Lord. He asked them to. One of the things was for their sons to live forever, but they did. He denied them that. So when they died, that spirit roaming the earth looking for a body to encompass. So they enter into you. You don't have understanding, void of understanding. So enter into the mother, and then cause chaos in her life. She passed, enter into the daughter. Go and keep on. Nobody never deal with it. He go, and then like I was watching this one, reading up on this one situation where the lady was breaking that down, and she was saying how that we make oaths. We done made oaths with these with these spirits. Like our great grandmother might have made an oath, and don't even and the rest of the people don't even know it. And that spirit following that because it's an oath been made. Somebody got to come in and break that oath. But anyway, so let me show you what I'm talking about. What the Bible say about it. Genesis or the father, it could be a father too, just as well. So anyway, Genesis chapter 6 says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Then here we go right here. 3. And the Lord said, my spirit, see that? My spirit, that's the one, the spirit that's in Adam and all them and the Israelites. It says, my spirit shall not always dwell with man, for he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So it's another spirit that was in these giants. That spirit can come from y'all. So when those giants died, that spirit bound here until the judgment comes. That's what he's gonna judge. Those fallen angels and those wicked spirits. And so that's a lot of that's tied to generational curses. Because that spirit, he can't, Most High, Lord of hosts, Yahweh got to kill that spirit. Man can't kill it, so we got to kill it. So, but until the meantime, it's just going from one generation to the next, jumping. So yeah. So I'm gonna play these couple. One video is talking about just giving some information on it, and the next videos it has some solutions. So we're gonna play the first one. So I identify.
Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? Now, this is a new segment that we started maybe a year and a half ago, where we take all the questions that you ask that you can send to us at drmumbi@drmumbishow.com, and we usually take the most popular ones and answer them on this platform. So many questions have been coming in, and one that I've been people have been asking me on and off about was if I could explain exactly what ancestral curses are. But before I go into that, special shout out to my Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform. And special shout out to everyone that has subscribed, beloveds. I know the numbers are going up. I absolutely love it. We will be relaunching our main channel, Dr. Mumbi Show, very, very soon. So make sure that you're also subscribed there. So ancestral curses, what are they? And what do they look like? What do they manifest as physically? Because I have to re-emphasize and restate that we are mental and spiritual beings having this human experience. And so a lot happens in the mental and the spiritual realm. And for many of us who have been here several times, many call us the ancient ones, others call us the ancestors, others call us, the chosen ones. We come in looking for certain, and even new souls that are coming here, although there's fewer new soul stories for the days. But we come looking for certain energetic signatures that will allow us to come in with certain powers and gifts that we will be able to use, because you almost look for the bloodlines. And so if you're a high level, seer, or you would look for, those prophetic tendencies in both the mother's bloodline and the father's bloodline. And then, of course, you want to choose maybe an ancient bloodline where you can even pick up more gifts from that, because you see, we inherit ancestral blessings, but we also take on ancestral curses. And sometimes we're coming in for the ancient bloodlines, but we have to, take on the recent ancestors.
Yeah, these ancient bloodlines is these spirits I'm talking about. When the flood came, that's where the flood came. Drowned all. I think they were saying something like 10 million giants was drowned in the flood. So all them, each one of them had a spirit. She talking in circles, but yeah. So what she calling ancient spirits is, ain't no ancestors. It's these spirit out of these giants.
Ancestral curses. Now, ancestral curses that many people know about are physical ailments like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and they'll tell you these are passed on. They'll ask you, did your paternal or maternal grandparents or parents have these? When you go to the doctor, people still. But so these are like the diabetes, the high blood pressure, also mental illnesses like Alzheimer's, like dementia. All of these are inherited. They say narcissism is a mental illness. I think they just allow the narcissist to get away with bad behavior. But all of these are physical manifestations of ancestral curses that many people come in. And what it means is that those are energetic signatures, like because we pick things mentally and spiritually first, and then it manifests physically. And so we're always crafting our life based on what we have. And bloodlines are so important because it determines what we can come in with and what we have to work with. In terms of this body, how much we can stretch this body to make, to allow our highest vibrational selves to come and dwell here. Things like that. I was just hearing something. It's like like a serpent. Stories for the days. So it's extremely important for us to recognize that it's, the ancestral curses are energetic signatures that we pick up as we're picking up many other things. And many times we have come here, like for myself, for example, maybe I came here for more, for the gifts and talents of more ancient bloodlines in my bloodline. But the recent grandparents had diabetes, had high blood pressure, had cholesterol. And so those were things that I had to contend with, which means that I was predisposed to them. But it shows that those were kind of the energetic and mental signatures that I picked up. And so I will be predisposed to being that. And I'm making this so physical, but you have to also see it spiritually, because we focus so much on the physical ancestral curses, but there's also those spiritual ancestral curses that we are here to overcome, beloveds, and to kind of help to clean the bloodline and to set off a new stem, a new branch in that bloodline that is free of, these certain blocks, these certain limitations, or observations of what are the general things that, your mama, her sisters.
Any comments so far? Any comments so far?
So what is she saying that is the way to break the generational curses? If it's that, if it's spirits like that, in the past when they talked about generational curses, they were talking about, maybe a family had, you know, a lot of unwed pregnancies or
Right. That's what it is.
and then one person could stop it. It takes
Right,
one
right.
person to be aware of it and break it. Is that what she's saying? That one person?
But when, like I was saying before, she off on some more stuff as far as concerned. She off into reincarnation and all this type of stuff, not understanding, like I was telling you about, she's saying energy. And energy she talking about is spirits. That's what Enoch told us. It's wicked spirits. So anyway, the physical manifestation of what you just said is the actual child, but it's a spiritual side too. When you start talking about having kids out of wedlock, the spiritual side of it is we know that that's not the way the Most High want it done. So it's the spirits behind that. It's, and how you break it is you understand that you keep the Most High laws, statutes, and judgments first of all. Then you understand that it's spirits involved in it, and
Yeah, that
we
makes
call them
sense.
out. We don't dress it. We don't address it. Like I said, it's just like going in there in the kitchen to the faucet. You get thirsty, it's water in the faucet. So you get a glass and go in there with the water. Well, it's the same thing right here. Once you realize that it's wicked spirits out there, then you got to talk to them. We ain't doing that. It's like I was saying about the people can't understand about the giants before and after the flood. Well, if it's angelic beings that came down on Mount Hermon and did what they did in Genesis chapter 6, well, they got wings. The flood came, they went up. All they had to do is go up like flies on dung. They just went up. When the water started receding, we see giants again after the flood. Come on, they ain't hard to see. So anyway, son, with this is these wicked spirits, you don't never address them. Like I said, they're gonna drive you the parents into the ground, and then they pass. They looking for a body. The parent died. Well, they're gonna go to the kid. Nobody ain't addressing it because nobody don't understand that part of it. But all it takes is to understand that, and then you talk. You speak to it, and you talk to the Most High about it and speak to it. But nobody doing that because they don't understand that, you know. And like I was saying before, I talked about it a couple of times. It's like it's at night. You know what I mean? When it's like a car. You start a car at night, the headlights come on. You can see. So you sleep at night. That's how these spirits operate. That's how this darkness, the things they go bump in the night, they operate in deceit. That's why they hook with scriptures. They operate back because you don't understand who you are. You don't understand the scriptures. You don't understand that JC are idol. So they operating in that. They operating out of your ignorance. So you don't understand that you being manipulated is wicked spirits, and you being manipulated. You ain't addressing it, and they just running rampant. But as soon as you realize that and you start addressing it, then it's a different ball game. You can see the difference. Like I was saying before, you say something. You sit in your house and you get the inkling to, go rob a bank or go to the store and steal somebody's store. That ain't you. That's something outside of you. They can post it up. And when they got us thinking, that ain't none of you. Or sleep with a little old kid, 7, 8-year-old kid. That ain't you. It's something in you coercing you to do that. That ain't you. And you simply have to speak to it. You know what I mean? And speak to it. It ain't, it ain't you. So you speak to it. Yeah. And that's what the Most High means by when you understand your Israelite, he got a clean and unclean food. Well, if you eating all this unclean food, well, that's where they dwell at, in uncleanliness. But you clean all that up, then they can't dwell there. That's what the Most High is talking. Those are the things he's talking about. So I'm gonna play a little more of this, but like I said, she's dealing with reincarnation. It don't exist. But you know, she got it.
Could it be relationship issues where, you know, either no, everyone's a single something, no one's married, although marriage is anyway, let me not get into that, is a foreign institution, but still there is partnerships. Why don't the partnership dynamics work in your family? Looking at those kind of things will help you to see. You can.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the other part of it in a minute, but like I was saying before, like rings, you know, wedding rings and all that. That's over here in the West. We dealing with all that. It's spirits tied to all that. I mean, the movie Lord of the Rings. Who was Lord of the Rings? Lucifer, the Lord of the Rings. You got crowns and rings on your fingers and all this stuff. It's tied to these people learn how to put runes. And they make like crosses and all that. And they put runes and curses on this cross, where it's a wicked spirit tied to the rune that they put on the cross. You go buy it, put it on your neck, where it's a spirit tied to that. Just like with this curses, you know, you don't know what your grandparents did or whatever agreement they made with what such and such. Well, it ain't been broken. She passed away. Well, it's generational. You coming on this like you know, the mama have 2 kids, you know, out of wedlock, and then at 19, I done seen this over and over again. I always pay attention to it. So at 19. A straight A student in high school, had, you know, 2 kids out of wedlock, end up don't go to college, get out of college, don't go back. Then the daughter, 19, straight A student, 19 years old, she get 2 babies. So if nobody don't step in and or nobody figures out what's going on, that's gonna keep on happening. So somebody got to come in and break it and do something with it. If you don't, it's just gonna keep on happening because it's spirits and spiritual connotation attached to it. Any comments? I'm gonna go to the other part of this.
I think that you're speaking a lot tonight. You talking to somebody, I don't know who, but you speaking tonight. But you know, one thing about that too, we don't sit down and we don't have conversations with our children. Because
Right.
you know, we've seen our mothers do it, we do it, and then our children, they repeat it. So we don't bother to sit down, you know, and talk to our children because we don't even recognize, you know,
Right.
that, you know, what we have done is just something generational that's continuing on and on and on. And by the
Right.
time you decide to talk to your daughter, she don't had 2 or 3 kids and not married. And we giving baby showers and you know, praising it like there's something great, you know.
Right.
You know, as far as marriage, you know, as Hebrew Israelite men and women, we know that we don't stand before, you know, a preacher or the judge for us to say an oath to get married. That's not the way it happened.
Right. That's the part of what he said about in the latter days. Yeah, you know, and that's how we know we ain't dealing with our creator. We wasn't dealing with our God because he says in the latter days you're gonna seek him and find him. I mean, up until that point, you weren't dealing with him, you're dealing with something else. And so like I said, they operate in deception. They able to move around and do everything they're doing out of deceit and with the wrong information. And that's how they're able to operate. But no sooner than the righteousness and right knowledge comes, they can't operate there. I mean, like I said, I don't know if anybody ever really paid attention to it, but it's like with this information that everybody receiving here on Prophets of Awakening, you come across somebody else and you start trying to, you know, they asking questions because you know they want to know, and you giving them information. If you on the phone, notice the phone go off, or all of a sudden clowns start calling. They don't even call you before. Just anything to disrupt the conversation, throw you. They don't want to cause because they didn't had this person for years in the dark. They don't want them to get no knowledge. You know, that's all spiritual. The phone cut off. All kind of crazy stuff can happen. So you have to be conscious of that, and then you have to be persistent and make sure you convey the information to the person. Don't allow the drama going on around to stop that conversation. That's all they want, the conversation to stop. They don't want you around, there's all kind of drama gonna start happening. They don't want you around the person. You have to be aware of that, and you got to be persistent and make sure that you deliver that information. Yeah. So here we go.
Hi, this is Alemi from Yeo Botanica. So our subject today is ancestral curses. Some people call them generational curses, but at the end of the day, they're really about something or situations that are ailing a current generation in a family. So let's get into what that really means. Let's define what an ancestral curse is. As I said earlier, it's about a situation or conditions that are affecting a current generation. And so an ancestral curse, if you will, can one, be passed from one generation to the other. That's why it's called ancestral. People oftentimes are not sure when that started, but that is something they can find out. But when did this really start in that lineage? Passed down from one family member to another, or one group of family members to another. The other one is it can be on both sides, or it can be on either side. It's carried on the side of the male or the father. It's carried on the side of the mother or the females. Or it can be carried on both sides. It just happens that they meet in the middle for that generation. Also, it can skip a generation, which a lot of people don't even really realize, and it can also skip people within that generation. Yeah. Example, maybe there are 5 siblings in a family, and everyone is fine except for 2 people. Or everyone is fine on this side, but not fine on this side. That's what I mean about can skip different people. So we want to think about these vibrations, really. They can manifest themselves spiritually or physically. And so I'm going to get into a little bit about how does it manifest spiritually or physically, so that you can kind of have a fuller idea.
So like I said, she in a roundabout way, she ain't really understand it's a spirit. Like I said, it can manifest itself spiritually or physically as a spirit. That's what it is.
Of what that means. So how do these curses come about? Because I personally don't like the word curse, but I recognize it's a real word. So how does it come about? Well, in my experience, it first comes through negative intentions. Almost every single time it comes about through some kind of negative intention or negative conditions. In other words, people who are living in really bad conditions, that they internalize the vibrations of those bad conditions and now passes it on to other people. Maybe it's children through childbirth and so on. Negative intentions, people cursing someone, saying bad things, mind magic, thinking negatively too much about this person or their conditions, evil eye. People say, oh, I don't believe in that. I believe in that. And it does play a role for some people, right? Real curses, where someone curses the person or curses their family. An example of that could be where it says, a person says, none of your children will prosper.
Right.
I'll talk a little bit about how that can come to light later on, right? So some people they're told, don't curse people because it will happen, right? So this could be an example of how this whole thing starts. Someone says something, and now it has rippling effects over generations, right? And of course, negative witchcraft. This is one of the big ways, I've told you the top 4, of how this can manifest in family lines. How do curses operate, or how do they affect people? So curses can have an activation point where after people become a certain age, all of a sudden it starts to happen. Right. That's not all family or ancestral curses, but some of them do operate that way. Example, for people who, in terms of one category is childbirth, right? So women, they can continuously abort. They can continuously have stillborns, or the children don't make it all the way to term. Children who are disabled can't get pregnant. All of those fall in the same category, right? Where the line, or people are not able to procreate to carry on the line. For men, it can be they're sterile. They are not able to have a high sperm count. They're not able to kind of impregnate someone continuously. This also can be due to some family problem, right? Then we can talk a little bit about death, how that shows up. So some people, their life dies early, right? They could be having major problems where they just kind of get stuck.
Okay, everybody near read Tobit, right? In the Apocrypha. Did anybody read Tobit in the Apocrypha?
I've read some scriptures in Tobit.
The story, the plot in the story was the girl, she had a demon, a wicked spirit around her, and was killing all the men that came to her. You remember that? When you get a chance, read it.
In their life, it could be that they become incarcerated, right? It could be that there's severe substance abuse. It could be that they have minimal growth. They have a lot of poverty, or they're never happy. They cannot seem to prosper. As soon as they start to get on top, things just fall down. They get on top and they fall down again. Severe depression or emotional problems. Oftentimes, some of these things are perpetuated through ancestry. Years ago, I have a client who, when they came to me, they kept talking about there's something wrong in their family. This woman thought that something was going to happen to her son. She said, I would keep thinking that something was going to happen to him. And so we had a full conversation about not putting out all that kind of negative energy. But then she brought up this idea that her brothers had all been incarcerated. They all had been the route of substance abuse. Her sisters, all their sons were incarcerated, and so on and so forth, right? So that's an example of this wilting, this contracting of the family line by way of the men. Why? Because we love our men, right? They're the ones that carry on our bloodline. They're the ones that are some of the biggest providers in families. They're the ones that help to balance the mother and the father, and so on and so forth. Well, if you start to destroy that part of lineage, eventually the lineage can die, right? So again, showing another example of how these things can work their way out. So one last thing that I'd like to say, because people are oftentimes asking, how do I break this? How do I break this? Someone told me I had it. You can only break your particular chain, your particular problem, and how that may affect your children. But you breaking it for yourself, it's almost impossible to now break it for the entire family. You being that one person, to now do one exercise, maybe on yourself, or one ritual that's going to fix the whole family. Other people in your family can do things, and then you can generate a lot of energy together. But you by yourself cannot fix the whole lineage problem. I've never heard of it. If you hear about it and you see proof of it, I want to learn that system.
Okay, so that's you want to watch that. It's Ancestral Generational Curses, Signs and the Symptoms. You want to watch it. So any comments? So anybody got anything before we move forward? Everybody good? Okay.
Yes,
All right. So I'm gonna deal with this right here. This is a little something about medicine, spiritual medicine, organic foods. It ain't that long. Then we'll go into the lesson.
We are at the Movenpick Hotel. The breeze, we can feel it, right? You can feel the breeze, right, sis?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We're here on Ghana soil. Lauren, this is your first time in Ghana.
Yes.
She is the queen of green. Yes. Madam Vegan, everything green she loves. But you're a very powerful person.
I'm grateful to, thank you.
You're very powerful. You've worked with some amazing people. Slipping in the Grammys. I'm just mentioning the Grammys as one of the things. But Lauren, you are amazing.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you, sis. Thank you.
Reflections, absolutely.
Tell us about the journey to Ghana so far.
My journey to Ghana has been amazing. Even the flight over. You know, sometimes the long flights can be a bit intense, but I was so excited to get here. And honestly, every day has been full of just so much healing because we've been going to the slave dungeons. We've been really understanding the history of Ghana and how it relates to the African American ancestry. And
as it dissolves, my nitric oxide levels improve.
all of that, but then, you know, enjoying meeting beautiful, amazing people like yourselves and tasting the beautiful food. The food is amazing. I cannot wait to learn how to make some of it. So it's been amazing. Prince Anthony has been amazing. Just everyone that I've met has been a pleasure. So it's been great.
What was your perception of Africa before you came to Ghana?
Well, I've been to Africa before. I came in 2012 with my clients, Serena and Venus Williams. So we stopped in Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and then I took my own excursion over to Ethiopia. So I was like, if I'm this close to Ethiopia, might as well go to Addis Ababa. So I spent a month with friends. I have friends in Ethiopia, so I stayed there for about a month, and it was incredible. My vision was like, especially like in Ethiopia, which was, you know, it was very underdeveloped. And I thought, you know, all my friends, I'm from DC, so there's such a huge Ethiopian community who's super wealthy, you know. And so I was just like, we got to we got to do some things. So I'm excited to come back to Africa and do a tour. I want to do a culinary arts tour, especially here in Ghana. Is one of the major places I want to come. So, but yeah, I've always thought that and knew that the motherland was like the richest of all of the countries, you know, and that it was missing us.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were missing.
Absolutely.
You are.
Absolutely. I mean, growing up, were you told about Africa? How was your upbringing like? And, you know, did you always feel that connection with Africa?
So very interesting. So my family is from Guyana. My mom's side is Guyanese. Her father is Madras Indian and her mother is Chinese and Amerindian Indian. There's a very big mix. I grew up in a household eating lots of curry, lots of Asian influenced food. So it was like I grew up eating fusion food, you know. And then my father's side is, my dad is from Brooklyn, New York. And his mother is African American. His father is Native American and Cuban. So there's so many mixes happening. So I've been culturally aware of a lot, you know. But I did not have a huge connection to Africa because it was just, I had friends who were African, but I didn't know about the food. I didn't know about the culture. And I really feel like, you know, when I went to Africa in 2012 is when I learned the Azanto. I learned about Afrobeat and all of those things. And it was still untapped in America. A lot of people were not hip to how dope Africa is, how amazing and how diverse it is. And so I got a taste of it when I came, and I was like, listen, it's so rich here, the style. I mean, look at this outfit. Yeah. You've been dripping in gorgeous outfits since I've seen you, and everyone is just, oh, thank you. Since I've been here, and the kindness, the hearts of people and the love is just really unmatched. Yeah. But growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about it.
So what do you think that our brothers and sisters in the US are missing out on? You know, the people that are still not inclined and in tune to Africa, they just don't, some of them don't really want to know anything about Africa.
You know what? That's interesting because I don't know anyone now that's not ready to come to Africa. Like everyone is ready to come to Ghana. Wow. My client Stevie Wonder is like, yeah, I'm moving to Ghana. I was like, well, I'm going to Ghana next week.
I'm coming before you.
I'm like, you know, and but for those people who are sitting on the fence or who might just be just completely oblivious to how amazing Africa is, I would say you need to travel more. Yeah. I would say it's so important to remember your connection to Africa because I don't care who you are, I don't care what country you're from, it all leads back to Africa. You know, where we were, our children were being fed prison grade food since I was in school. Prison grade food. We shifted that, and now there are salad bars, there's smoothies, there's healthier food in the schools. So yeah, that was next level. I was like, hey Michelle, hey girl, you know. No.
How does it make you feel when you get call-ups from all of these amazing people that inspire us?
Every client that I've had, I've never looked for. Wow. They've all come to me, from Serena, Venus, Common, all of them. Wow. Stevie Wonder, to get a call randomly from Stevie Wonder. Wow. I was just like, hello? Like, what? You know, or India Irie or Common or Serena Williams, and they're on your other line. You're like, wow, okay, this is on speed dial. This is interesting, yes. You know, and then to work with them. I mean, I lived and traveled with Serena for over 3 years. Wow. I helped to bring her to world #1. And well, you know, the thing about it is that she's doing the work, but you know, changing what you're eating makes a huge difference. When I started with her, she was ranked 165 in the world because she had just recovered from an injury, and she just wasn't in the best of health at the moment. Within that year, she was world #1. Wow. You know,
so just by the food that we eat, can change everything and bring us to #1.
#1 on all levels, because, you know, physically, it gives you more energy, you're healthier, but then mentally, it clears that fog. You're getting enough oxygen to your brain to think, to process, to receive the spiritual downloads that you need. So it's not just physical, but mental, spiritual, all of those things shift when you change what you're eating, you know, and it's just consuming on all levels. So I say that, you know, for one, our body is mostly water, and water, there's a study that was done on water and how sounds, how even thoughts and intentions can change the molecular structure of water. And because we're mostly water, this is the same for us. So sounds, words, intentions, all of that can shift our entire molecular structure. So it's what you're consuming on all levels. Your thoughts are impacting your entire water system, your words, all of those things. So honestly, that's what I offer to my clients. It's not just food. It's a total life shift. Yeah.
Total life shift. So what made you write the book, Eat Yourself Sexy? I love that.
Thank you. You know what? I said the people need to know how important eating healthy is. And I wanted to translate to folks who might not ever eat vegan or even who aren't eating their vegetables. I was trying to make it fun and healthy and sexy and translatable. So that's why I did it. I said, I have to get this out. I have 3 books. I have a children's book as well that I wrote with my nonprofit. I had 180 youth in one of my programs, the Summer Youth Employment Program, and we wrote the book together. But yeah, I plan on writing more books. I feel like people need to know how important this is and how easy it is and how fun it can be. It doesn't have to be like a drag. It can be delicious. It could be fun, and it could be sexy.
Yeah. But sometimes people say, being a vegan is so expensive. Oh, trying to, it's easier to actually get fast food out because it's cheaper. But when you look at the flip side of what you're saying, you would have a sound mind. You'll be more healthier. You'll be more spiritually inclined. Tell us the importance of why we should invest in being natural, more natural.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be more expensive.
Okay.
If you grow your own food, you don't have to pay anything.
True.
So, I think about when you go, just even here, you get some pineapple and some mangoes and some fruits and some vegetables, and you make your own food. It's more cost effective. In addition, you can feed your whole family. Beans are cost effective. Rice. There's a ton of things that you can eat that are vegan that are way more cost effective than going out and eating meat. Now, fast food is a whole nother trap. Fast food was designed to quickly poison you. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you want to spend a little more now, or do you want to spend more at the hospital? You can choose, you know what I mean? So eating healthy is your insurance. And of course, it creates a sound body, a sound mind. Across the board, you have more longevity. You live longer, you feel better.
Okay. Any comments on that? The video is our medicine and spirituality is in our food. Organic foods are from Africa. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? You get anything out of that? Okay.
I did. We really have to be so conscious about what we put in our body and what we allow in our mind and the people around us who we even share our space with. All of that is so important. And like she said, we don't need all this food. We've been programmed when to eat and how to eat. Okay, you got to have breakfast. You have to have lunch. You have to have an appetizer. You have to have dinner. You have to have dessert. And our bodies do not need all this food. So I do agree with her. It's very important what we put in our bodies. And it even makes you feel even a certain kind of way when you put good things in your body.
Right. Yeah, she even another thing that stuck out too was liquid. Our bodies consist of mostly liquid. And then she was talking about how thoughts and all that affect the liquid. That's something. Anybody else got anything on that?
They were talking about how you like if you eat when you eat animals, you're eating something that doesn't have any life in it, whereas you're eating, something that's dead. Whereas if you're eating vegetables and fruits, then you're eating something that has a life in it,
Right.
and it does affect how you feel. And they were saying that
Right.
the what is it, the secretions and um the hormones that are secreted from the animals when they're being killed, it's still in the food. So if they're panicked, and if they have a lot of adrenaline in their muscle tissue, that's what you're eating. And so a lot of people are depressed because they're eating those hormones that were produced when that animal was, killed or scared or whatever. So
Right.
something to think about.
Right. And
Right.
so many
Yes, and eating meat today. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Cynthia.
I was just going to say, eating meat now is totally different than what our ancestors a long time ago ate. I
Right.
mean, it's treated different. It has steroids. I don't eat meat
Right.
anymore because when I would eat meat, I would have so much inflammation and I would have heartburn just constantly. I
Right.
was taking Tums 3 and 4 times a day. Now that I don't eat meat, I don't have it anymore.
Right. Yeah, it was a way to drain the blood too. He tell us in the scriptures how it's a way to drain the blood out of the animal, and that goes back to what Star was saying earlier about the hormones and stuff. So if you drain that, it's a way to bleed the animal out, bleed the blood out of it. You got something, Michelle?
Yes, I was going to just piggyback off of what Cynthia was saying earlier is that we are just programmed to, when we get up in the morning, we have breakfast, we have a snack, we eat lunch, we have a snack, we have dinner, when really it is good to fast. There's nothing wrong with fasting. If you can't do it 8 hours, start out 6, start out 4, but it is good to fast and drink water. We are hooked on sodas and different things like that, but you have to start somewhere and learn how to fast so many hours a day.
Right, exactly. Right.
It was hard for me in the beginning, but after a while, it got easy. You just
Okay.
have to program your mind that way.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing real quick, when she was talking about the water and how the water molecules change, I
Right.
had heard people talking about, you should, speak to the, like they say speak to plants. They
Right.
were saying like you should, say affirmations and positive things. Like if you have a bottle of water
Hmm.
and you have it sitting up before you drink it, maybe the day before, you could put notes on it. They were saying it's kind of about um, intention, and
Right.
it seems hard to believe, but she just said that again, so I'm like, maybe it's something to it. It
What you go?
changes the molecular structure. They call it structured water. So whether you put it in the sun or whether you talk to it, they're saying it changes the structure and your body can receive it better or something like that. So I had to read up on structured water,
Right.
but it's
Right.
something about talking to it, your words, even putting like sticky notes on the water. I
Right.
don't know how the water would know that you put a positive affirmation on
Wow.
either. It's weird, but somebody else was mentioning that's what they do before they drink their water. They structure their water like that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Never heard that before. Something to
Well,
check out.
that's something to think about because what I had just read in Genesis 18 is I was telling you about the spirits that's when those giants died, right? And then the angelic beings, angels are spirits. So we saw that Michael, when he came to Abraham, she didn't even say it. She said she thought, in her own self, and laughed. She laughed to herself and thought something, but he heard it. Say he heard it. She never could speak. So these spirits would know that. We just find that out. But they like I said, they doing stuff to us, man, we ain't even conscious of it. Like for example, he said there's angels over water, there's angels over snow. Well, that angel would know the molecular makeup and everything it got to do with that on this side and that's on both sides. They know how that works. And one of the things they had to do with that too was they always trying to figure out what makes these UFOs. They talk about UFOs and what is it that they're using because they don't send out no emissions or and they don't make no sound. And they were trying to figure out what it is. And I remember a while back, maybe around about 20 years ago, this guy was in Florida. He had a villa out by the water, and he said he woke up one morning and the UFO was sitting there over the water, and it was sucking water up in it. Water was going up in the UFO. So what that tells me is it's something about the water that they know that we don't know. and so you say, what are you talking about? Well, Enoch tells us the process of evaporation and condensation is something in the water when it fall down to the earth. That's why everything grows, and then the sun bring it back up again. Same process. When whatever in it comes to the earth and release it, then the sun bring it back up. And it's a continuous cycle. So these angels, they would know that. And so like the guy was saying, it was sucking water up in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he said it was sucking water up in the UFO. He was sitting hovering over the water, over the ocean, over the water, and sucking the water into it. Is that something? Yeah. Does anybody else got anything on that?
We are what? 80, what did they say? 89% water?
Yeah, right, exactly.
And if
Right.
that's what, like you said, if that's what helps us to grow, and we can go without food a lot longer than we can go without water. I mean,
Exactly.
our body's water, but once we are lacking it, yeah.
Right. And the whole planet is waiting on the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to say one more thing about water. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
All water is not created equal. I mean, they're doing so much and putting so
Right,
many
exactly.
chemicals in our water.
Yeah,
So you have
exactly.
to be careful what kind of water you're drinking too.
Right. Yeah, I'm even suspect on taking hydrogen water and pouring on a plant. I I'd rather catch it in a some kind of bucket or whatever and use that water on the plant rather than put hydrogen water on it. Just the hydrogen water is not, it's nothing to be dealt with. It ain't
They were
right.
saying also that
Too many chemicals.
they put fluoride in all the drinking water. Just thinking about all the years that we drank it out of the water
Right.
fountain at
Exactly.
school,
Right.
kids, and they were saying that fluoride and all of those stuff, they calcify the pineal gland.
Right.
People were
Exactly.
knowing about pineal gland before, but the
Right.
fluoride is supposed to calcify that,
Right.
so you can't use it.
Exactly. And there's some, yeah, that's something to research. Yeah. Okay. So I'm opening up for some any questions or comments anybody have from any questions they have before I go into the lesson. I got any,
Yeah, I had one quick question that I wrote down. Let's see. I wanted to know if you knew anything about this person. Where is it? Um, is it Abba Benemy? Abba the what is it? Abba. I can't find it in my notes because I'm on my phone right now. But they were saying they're talking about Israel, and they were talking about the people that are over there.
to my Benjamin.
Yeah, Benjamin, and they also Benjamin is like another name for. They also call it Abba Dabal or something like that.
Right.
Who is Benjamin? Who is that?
Well, they this back in the '60s, early '60s. He said he had a vision from God to take a group of people over to Israel and go into the land and set up a settlement in the land of Israel. So he took a group of people over there, and they saying that, you know, they consider him to be the Messiah. But I think maybe the last 5 years or so, I think he passed away. He passed away within the last five. I know within the last 5 years, and so they didn't like, you know, idolize him now.
Yeah, that's what these guys, these other Israelites were saying. They were saying they they didn't like that part because they kind of
Right,
made an idol of this. And I was like, I hadn't heard of it. And it was
right,
like they were trying to, like he was a prophet, and that
right,
they started to kind of, they would say, they follow, the Most High. They didn't definitely put him ahead, but the people that were over there that visited said they did kind of make an idol of this person. So that's the only thing they didn't, the criticism they had for those other Black Israelites over there.
right. Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing about it too. Was like us, when a lot of people don't understand where we at, and they don't really understand where we at in prophecy. So based on that right there, this guy left back in '63, right? So it's a little small. They didn't group because they had kids and all that, and other people joined them. So they got a small group of Israelites over there. They in let me see that place where they at. Matter of fact, that's the same people that was talking about. They was talking about kicking them out recently when that new prime minister came in Israel, and they also have a group that's over in Tel Aviv. I was showing you the image of they've dug up David Tabernacle and over in Tel Aviv. So when you go back to Babylon, it was three different excursions from Babylon when they came back. So it's already started. We see what I'm getting ready to talk about in a minute is how many people already left here already over in Ghana and all in that area. So it's actually this situation, our situation and our captivity being turned is a lot further along than a lot of people even realize. Yeah. It's nothing new under the sun. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go into the lesson. It's I'm dealing with a couple of videos, and it's about Africa and the rise of the Hebrews. So let me get it. Hmm. Okay.
We started as kings, priests, became slaves, 1619. We started as Hebrews and they renamed us Negroes. Now the roar of the lion has awakened his people. Can you swim in this beach? Yeah, you can. My son just came here to swim. Oh, the waves ain't too rough? The waves ain't that rough at all. And do these waves come down in certain time of the year? Yeah. Because right now, right now, it's getting close to the evening. So the current has picked up. But when you come, usually when I bring my son, we usually get here around 11 and leave around 3. How deep so at this time, it depends on how far you go out. But like 6 feet, 7 feet, just like I said, depends on how far you go out. The closer you stay here is like 3 feet, 4 feet. The further you go out, the deeper it gets. Yeah, but much earlier.
You can go in an empty home.
When we have more time. I'll send you a message. I'll give you my number, and then we'll talk. All right.
Shalom, shalom. Hebrews Ron Dawson here. Just doing some running errands, dropped off some stuff at UPS. I got a chance to see a video clip of Vin Lloyd meeting Rizza Islam. And I remember Vin Lloyd back in the day, in my early days on Instagram. I forgot what his channel was, but I know who he is. He probably knows Hebrews niggas too. And back in the early days of Instagram, when Rizza Islam wasn't as big as he is now, so Brother Ben X, they would like and converse and be tagged on a lot of the posts that I would do on Instagram, because a lot of the Israelites were on there debating and shooting down the Kemetic community, the Islamic community, in different communities. Even those that believe that the so-called Negro are indigenous to America, we are the Indians, and this is our land, Turtle Island. One of the things we have to understand is that I've reached out to Brother Ben X, I've reached out to Rizza Islam, I've reached out to Brother Polite, I've reached out to Dane Calloway, I've reached out to a lot of people, the leaders of IUIC, GLCC, Rudolph Windsor, Stephen Darby when he was alive, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Phil from the Life Show, the African Diaspora News Channel, and a lot of Dr. Mumbi, and the list goes on and on and on. Dwight Howard, what's the guy's name? Amari Stoudemire, Brandon T. Jackson, a lot of celebrity. But see, we got to understand these things. For instance, when I talked to Brother Polite on the phone, and we were trying to set up a debate, and I said, well, most of the Kemetic community with Sa Neter, they are in the belief, or they believe that we are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. It's the reason why they wear the Egyptian Ankh, and they say Hotep and all the other stuff. They believe that we are the children of Mitzrayim or Kemet or Kimi or Mizri, whatever you want to call it. That we built the pyramids. That is our ancestor. That's our ancestor forefather. But when you talk to these guys, like when I talked to Brother Polite, and Garfield was on the line with me, three-way, I said these things to him, and they said, "Oh no, we don't believe that we're descendants of the ancient Egyptians. We don't believe we built the pyramids. We don't believe that we're the descendants and children of the ancient pharaohs that ruled the Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, or maybe preferably the Old Kingdom because they're more authentic." And I said, well, then what do y'all believe then? What are you guys teaching on Sa Neter? What are you guys teaching? What do most black people that's in the Kemetic community believe? Because most of them believe that they are descendants of the children of the Egyptians, not the Israelites. And I said, well, if you guys are going to say that we are earthlings or humans or Adamites or the First Republic New Covenant, first of all, where does the word Adam or Adam come from? Does it come from Kemet? Does it come from Samaria? Where does it come from? And first thing, earthlings, where does the word earth come from? Is that a Hebrew term? Is that a Kemetic term? What book is it that talks about earthlings? More religious books is the Book of the Dead, the Coffin Text, the Pyramid Text, is it the Bible, is it the Quran, is it the Rig Vedas? What is it? There's a problem here that people run from identity and our true ethnicity or nationality. They run from that. Same thing with people that are in Islam. Why are we reading the Quran when we already have the Old Testament? We have the Tanakh. We have everything that we need, that without it, you wouldn't even have the Quran. Without the ancient Hebrew language, without Hebrew, you wouldn't even have Aramaic or even Arabic or Kufic or Hijazi, the script that they were used before Arabic was even used. We have to understand these things. And most Muslims today, in the Arab world, they don't know who they are, because you ask somebody from Palestine, you say, hey, are you Muslim? Yes. What's your nationality, your ethnicity? They say, oh, we're the ancient Philistines. Then they'll say, oh, we're the children of Ishmael. Then you ask another Arab that's Muslim in Egypt, you say, hey, what's your ethnicity? What's your nationality? who's your ancestral forefather? They'll say, we are the children of ancient Egypt. You ask somebody next door, Libya, and say, hey, what's your ethnicity? Are you Muslim? Yes. Are you descendants? Which are the ethnicities? They say, oh, we're descendants of the ancient Hittites, the ancient Libyans. Oh, so you're a Hamite then, according to the Bible, one of the sons of Ham. Then they'll say, no, and then somebody else was from Libya will say the same thing. We're children of Ishmael. Then you have somebody in Lebanon, you say, hey, you say, you're Muslim, right? They say, yes. They say, what's your ethnicity? What's your nationality? They say, oh, we're descendants of the ancient Phoenicians. I'll say, that's the Greek term for the Canaanites. So you're descendants of the Canaanites, right? And they say, yes. I said, so you're also one of the sons of Ham. If you ask the Arab Libyans, the Arab Egyptians, and the Arab Lebanese, and even the Arab Philistines, you say, hey, all these people you guys named that you're descendants of are all branches off of the sons of Ham. But we forgot one of the sons of Ham. One of the sons of Ham was Cush. Who are they? They don't know. If you tell them, like, well, if these people over here are the real people that speak the Cushitic languages or are real descendants of the ancient Cushites that spoke the ancient Old Nubian languages, then how is it that they're jet black and they have woolly hair and you guys are white? I said, how? If y'all supposed to be brothers, then shouldn't y'all look the same? And they don't have any answers for that. They don't have any answers. Any answers. So when you talk to people, and I'm not surprised when I email people, when I Facebook people, when I call them, when I DM them on Instagram, you know, the Dane Calloway's, Brother Police, the Rizal Islam's, Brother Ben X, the Jewish rabbis, the Christian pastors that try to call me all the time. None of them want to have a discussion. None of them want to have a debate in person, live, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of money in deceiving people into different doctrines, different teachings, different philosophies on what Black people believe in. And this is the reason why we're so confused as people, and we don't know who we really are because we're confused. You know, you got the AWS community disconnected from Africa with some of the tools that they use is that we are already here in America. We're indigenous. We're Indians. And Dane Calloway, his teachings fall right into play with that AWS mindset and mentality that we're not African. We're not from the continent of Africa. We were not taken as slaves from the continent of Africa. Granted, the word Africa is just a term for people that live on the continent of Africa. We know that there was not a man named Africa that had children called Africans in any religious book. But we know that there's different ethnic groups and nationalities that live on the continent of Africa, including people of European and Japhetic descent, and people of Hamitic descent, and people of Shemitic descent, or Afro-Asiatic, Shemitic, Hamitic descent. So at the end of the day, we have to get down to the identity, our ancestral forefather, which can be proved using their books, our books, and scientific fact. They cannot deny scientific fact because we know about anthropology, we know about archaeology, we know about craniometry, we know about all types of analysis of the skull, of the hair, of the jaw, of the blood types, the blood groups, the genetics, everything. We can research everything on a person from the rooter to the tutor, down to the deoxyribonucleic acid that makes us who we are. And so I'm not surprised that when Vin confronted Rizal Islam, that he kind of beat it around the bush. And they have the crescent moon and the star, and they follow the Quran, whether they follow the Quran or the Koran, Koran, which the Moors do, there's still a bunch of confusion. And at the end of the day, if we understand who we really are, then we have to go back to the text of the history of the people who we are, which is the Israelites. The Israelites that walked the earth, lived the history, and they passed down this history orally before it could be written down onto stone or papyrus papers, parchments, or paper. Remember, the people that are the Israelites today that have a Torah culture, that have a phonetic language that you can see functioning in the Bantu people in terms of the lexicon, the morphology, and syntax, how it operates identical to ancient Hebrew. These people were walking history. These people had the oral history of everything we see in the Tanakh and the Torah before the Greeks and the Romans and the Turkic Central Asian Japhetic people and all the children of Japhet started to give us the authorized translations of the books that they canonized for the Old Testament and New Testament. But nevertheless, we have people that are the Israelites. And we know that the Israelites have one creator, one God. And our God gave us laws. And we can see these laws being practiced in the Bantu people in Africa today. So here's where we at, guys. Here's where you at. And we have to put on our thinking caps for this. Notice how in the Israelite community, we like to debate each other. But nobody seems to want to debate or have a discussion with Ron Dalton and myself in an academic setting. I've been talking about this for years, and it has not happened. Your Pastor Eric Masons, your boy Kevin Malone's, your Dane Callaways, your brother Polites, your Resident Islam, even though I didn't call him out for debate. But the issue that Black people have is not understanding their identity, and how we understand our identity, we should do all things unto accordance of who we are and what the book says. And here's where the problem is, and why these things won't happen. Even why no Jewish rabbi on the planet Earth is willing to debate or have a discussion with Ron Dalton and myself in a physical location. You have your computer, you have your PowerPoints, all the material you have. I have my side, my computer, all the PowerPoints, information I have. And we got a screen, we got a podium, we got a mic, we got an audience. People even have teams. I mean, their team versus our team, with different Israelite historians and scholars such as myself, and Zion Lex, and Divine Prospect, and B'nai Israel, and others to prove, and even those from the continent that are from Africa, that are Bantu, that know and can prove that they're the Israelites, which we are them, they are us. Now, the reason why these things won't happen is because once they allow themselves to get in front of a public stage, live stream, or any type of debate where it can be viewed by video or live stream. Now, that means that their audience, the Islam's audience, the Nation of Islam, is going to see Ron Dalton and the Hebrews to Negroes message and teaching. If they had never heard about Ron Dalton and Hebrews to Negroes, the movies, the books, the teachings, everything that we're doing going to Africa, they are now going to be exposed to this. Same thing with Jewish rabbis. Any Jewish rabbi that debates an Israelite on a national platform, live or record a video, and it goes viral, now the whole Jewish community now will know about the books and movies, Hebrews to Negroes. The Kemetic community that's following Hassan Netter and Brother Polite has been brainwashed and miseducated for decades. Now, if they've never heard about Hebrews to Negroes, the movies, the books, H2NTV.com, and anything that we're doing, now they're going to find out about Hebrews to Negroes. The same thing with Pastor Eric Mason in the Christian church with the Christian apologetics. If the Black Christian church never has heard about the book or movies Hebrews to Negroes, and we have a debate in public, live, video recorded, now they are exposed to Hebrews to Negroes. Same thing with your Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway his teachings are affecting a lot of people. Thousands or hundreds of thousands of Black people are falling to the deception and belief that they are indigenous Indians, and they are not connected to Africa in any way, even through slavery. If any type of debate like this was to happen with Dane Calloway and his followers was to see this live discussion, debate, video recorded, now all his followers and the ADOS community, now if they have not ever heard about Hebrews Negroes and Ron Dalton, the movies, the books, the teachings, everything we're doing, going back to Africa, Flee Babylon University, now they're exposed to this. And this is what these groups and organizations do not want. They do not want any more exposure of Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America, the movies and books, to get out there into the media world, into the internet, into the viral world than it already is. I believe there is a concerted, organized effort to keep Hebrews to Negroes, the movies and books and the teachings and everything I'm doing under the rug. Hush, hush, don't let it blow up. Because if we let it blow up, then we can just say that's all she wrote. It's like the virus that just can't be stopped. And this is a good virus too that will help to wake up the minds of millions of people worldwide. These are the things that's at stake when people have an actual live public debate, and their followers and my followers are exposed to it. And that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. You know, Satan wants to hide truth from people. And what better way he can do it by keeping those that are doing their thing from continuously deceiving the people with all types of various doctrines and philosophical teachings and
yeah. So that's what I was talking about earlier. These wicked spirits and the fallen angels. That's the only way they operate. That's how you know that the last 2,500 years has been lies, because he tells us he's gonna seek us, he's gonna look for us, he's gonna seek us, we're gonna seek him in the latter days. That means, like I said before earlier, that means you ain't dealing with him. So that means you've been lied to, you're in the dark. That's how these spirits and these people, because Lucifer got people too, that's how they operate. They want to keep you in the dark. That's how they got all the money. They got all the money because they got the people believing lies, caught up in lies. Like he was saying about the us coming from America. America is Israel doctrine. All that's, you know, if you don't come into the truth, or somebody knows what they're talking about, they can get away with that stuff. But when it comes out in the light, you know, it don't hold. It can't hold up. Yeah. So if you want to watch all this video right here, it's Africa and the Rise of the Hebrews. It's Hebrews and Negroes. If you want to watch that video. Any comments on what they heard, on what you heard? Anybody got anything on it? You get anything out of that?
Yeah, my thing though is I know that that Dane Calloway has been saying that for a long time.
Right.
But you either an Israelite based on Deuteronomy 28,
Right.
where it's clearly telling you that we're brought by ships and all the things that happened in slavery. So either you're saying you're not an Israelite by saying that you're already here. So you have to, decide. You can't be it can't be both ways.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's
Exactly.
either you're gonna believe Deuteronomy 28, or you're going to come up with a different narrative and say that we're not from another continent. We weren't brought here. We weren't, you know, we were the Indians. We weren't. I don't know. It's it's like clear to me. I mean,
Right.
that's what woke me up. Deuteronomy 28.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
listening
That's
to
what woke a
him.
lot of people up. They woke a lot of
Yeah,
people up. Right.
that's what I'm saying. So if that's the scripture that everybody that came into it as the curses are showing us who we are.
Right.
So if you're negating a large part of that, um, then how can you say for sure that you are who you claim to be if you don't believe, if you think that didn't happen? I don't know.
Right. Right. Yeah. That right there in that 12 tribe chart got a lot of people in the picture. Yeah. But neither one of them neither one of them is legit. Right. Yeah, I got something else. I was getting ready to. Anybody else got any comments on that? Yeah. So I came across this here. I was thinking somebody else might know something about it. Have anybody ever heard of sleepers and turners? You heard that? Tied to the jab.
That was sleepers and what?
Turners. Turner. Sleepers and turners. I'm gonna play
No.
this here. I'm gonna play this here. Like I said, somebody might do some research on it. This lady, she a little lightweight Christian, but it just did something to me when I saw this. And I'm saying, "Whoa, man, I'm gonna do some more research on it too." But let me play it right quick. saw that. Close out after this.
Because oftentimes when we talk about the sleepers and the turners, yes, we link it to biting. We do, because this is one of the motion that they will have. All right, because they won't have any it's sad really, but they won't have any control over their body. Literally, this is going to be controlled by the enemy, really, and the thing that is inside of them. So one of the questions someone asked me in the comment section, really, and I never really thought about it, but it's very good. And the person says that, Sister Carrie, this is a very serious question. Please answer. What if the turners or the sleepers bite you? Will you turn as well? Good question.
So what I'm getting from that is, it's information out there which I'm trying to search it out. I'm hoping somebody else do too. But so what it is she's saying that, you know, all the people that took the jab, right? It's a time. It's a time when it's going, whatever it is they had in there, they're gonna turn. And they're gonna morph into something else. And they're saying that it's gonna be like dealing with reptilian like. They're gonna be reptilian like features. And said that they the eyes and stuff gonna change, but when it happens, they're gonna say that it's what's that pink eye? What's the clinical name for pink eye? Anybody know what the clinical name is for pink eye? Ginger something. Anyway, so when the people started, when this actually whatever that is they done with the people that took that jab, they're gonna start transforming, metamorphosis into something else. And that's, you know, that's my interpretation of what I'm getting. And that's what she called them sleepers and turners. Turners, I guess she's using this as a you know, not to get you know, trouble with the Facebook or YouTube or whatever. I don't let them more overplay. Maybe somebody can do some research.
Because there's going to be a lot of biting going on.
See that? They're going to transform into.
There's going to be.
Because, you know, they say that it's reptilian DNA in that. Yeah. Let me get it. I'm going to play them over. I'm going to let me give you this website. It's Sister Carrie Ann. That's the name of the website. Sister Carrie Ann.
Position where you didn't know what was happening until one of these things literally bites you, then what's going to happen to you? Will you turn like them? Will you become like them and all of that? The question that we need to ask is, what is the purpose of the sleepers and the turners? Because they have a purpose. Because they were created by the wicked pharaohs. The wicked pharaohs of this world knew that the ET in the pudding would eventually cause these peoples to lose their capability and to their mind, not theirs. They know. So the creation of the sleepers, aka the turners, is not by mistake. It is by wicked divine purpose. They know that this is going to happen. So what is the purpose of the turners? So they have to be purpose. You have to watch my videos because I talk about the false prophet, aka the Pope, lying signs and wonders, what he's going to do with the turners, their purpose. The purpose for that, if not for that dispensation, going to bring them back, they're going to look human, and all these wicked things are going to happen. But equally, brothers and sisters, you've got to understand that while the turners are doing their thing with the biting and carrying on, that their purpose is to kill. And it sounds awful, and it sounds horrible, and it sounds wrong. But you've got to understand that at that moment, in that dispensation, they're out of their mind. Their mind is not theirs. Even if they didn't want to bite you, even if they didn't want to hurt you, they can't stop it. And that's a sad bit about it. That is a sad bit about what is going to happen.
Okay, so if somebody want to do a little investigating on that, yeah, let me see what he's talking about. Says it's referring to transhuman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just came across that, like, okay, it's crazy, because of everybody saying this, that it's, even the guy that we listened to when he said that what was in the the jab had a system. It's a system within that, and is with dealing with that is nanotechnology. But it's whatever it is, it's a timing on it. It's being timed. So yeah, maybe somebody else can find some information on
What was her name again?
Sister Carrie Ann. KERRY-ANN.
Okay.
Okay. It says the Lord of hosts precepted Deuteronomy 28 with Leviticus 26, which is just as detailing about our condition in this land. Right? Yeah, exactly. That's Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 is pretty much line upon line, coincide with each other. Whatever is being conveyed in Deuteronomy 28, the same thing is being conveyed in Leviticus 26. Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
So
the word for pink eye, conjunctivitis.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She mentioned it on there. Yeah. So that's what she's saying. It's getting ready to happen real soon. It's a lot of people start getting the pink eye, but it's that jab, and but they're gonna tell everybody, downplay it, that it's something else. It's that pink eye.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually transforming. You know what I'm saying? So leave that alone. But anyway, so nobody else don't have nothing. We're gonna close out right here. So, oh yeah, I got one more thing too. So I don't know if anybody picked up on it, but I'm trying to do some women's health. Trying to do some women's health. Try to add it into the class some kind of way. So same way that we're doing with the Psalms. Somebody reading from Psalms. I was thinking maybe somebody wanna every week a different person wanna present some women's health information if they want to do that. Y'all think that's doable? Or you want to?
Yeah, that would be good.
That will work.
Yeah. So we get a volunteer for somebody to bring down. We'll just call it. I'm calling it about women's health. So next week you have somebody that when we get to that about women's health, they can come in and present whatever it is they have. Got a volunteer?
I'll start.
Okay. Saying who gonna read the songs next week?
I was supposed to tonight, so I'll do it.
You're gonna do the women's health, right?
Right.
Okay. Who's gonna do the songs?
I can do it next week also.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna we're gonna sign out. Let me hit this right quick. Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all everybody tomorrow at 8:00.
Yes, wonderful class, sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Okay. Shalom.